Very pleased to have with me now to round out the week, Michelle Malkin, who, one of the few people who needs no introduction. Michelle, it's great to have you back on the show. And there's a million places I would love to go today, but is there any place you'd like to start?
There are so many places, Alex. I'm going to let you steer the ship.
Sure. I will steer it. And I want to play something. You have been one of the people who've been the absolute best on the issue of immigration. The president had a line on immigration yesterday in his speech, which was pretty spectacular yesterday. But I had some interesting thoughts on this one. 1G. Go ahead there, Paul.
Mexico could stop them so easy. And you know what? If they don't, it's going to cost them a hell of a lot of money, honestly. Because they could do it so easy. So easy. And if they don't, and I'm telling you right now, we will close the damn border.
So, Michelle, I got mixed feelings about this. It sounds a little bit like the president's blaming Mexico and Central America for the caravans that are coming up, which is true, and that he threatens to close the damn border, which is great. But then again, we're a couple years into this. I think the president's by and large done a great job, but has not done well on his signature issue, which is immigration. So should I not be cynical here? Should I be excited that he gets it, or should I be upset and frustrated that we haven't done much?
I skew to the latter. I'm alarmed at the mother of all caravans that's headed here. And yes, of course, there is more than a grain of truth in blaming other countries, blaming Open Borders, Inc., blaming all of the transnational forces abroad, as well as all of the sanctuary enablers within our country who are responsible for this. But I don't want to hear empty threats anymore about how he's going to do what he should have done many months ago. And the fact that you have a massive number now of these families bringing children and strangers bringing in children tells you that the very magnet that he says that he understands is causing this, the failure to just go ahead executively and fix the asylum system, proves him right on that, and yet he's not doing what he can do as president with his executive authority and plenary powers. And so what are you waiting for? Do it.
Yeah, he's got to go now. And I think that this is one where this audience has been pretty frustrated with this particular element of the agenda. Michelle, where would you recommend we start on this to solve this?
He should have the military there. This is a national emergency. Does he believe his own rhetoric or not? And that's something that he could have dispatched, again, months ago, when he was doing the things that we wanted to do and paying attention to the border and shutting down the government. And then, of course, it had been already widely reported that the Congressional Research Service had laid the map out for him of what he could do as president without having to rely on the Open Borders left or Open Borders right or the faux pro-borders Republicans, who I think deserve a heck of a lot more scrutiny and condemnation for putting us in the situation that we're in. And his failure to do this, of course, harms so many people because what else is getting neglected? I mean, there's problems on the northern border. Alex, I hear from Border Patrol agents and people who work on monitoring all of our ports of entry, air, land, and sea, that are under siege. And then, of course, the other part of the neglect is over all of the temporary worker pipelines, which are getting expanded while nobody's paying attention.
Michelle Malkin again, michellemalkin.com, and she's at Michelle Malkin on Twitter, one of the few Twitter accounts I actually recommend. And by the way, 2.16 million, that might be the most of any conservative figure. That's pretty cool. So aside from the president himself. So that's that is something. That is the stiff competition there. And I'm with you completely on this issue that we are missing. If we don't solve this, then we can't focus on other topics. It's a waste of time. This is one that should be very common sense. And I'm with you that the Republicans, it's actually more repulsive to me because they're liars. The same way I'm biased in my reporting, you're biased in your reporting, but we announce it and we own it. And CNN acts like they're neutral, and they're at least as biased. I think more so because they're liars and we're not. I think it's worse what they do, much worse by a mile. And that's the same thing when you've got Republicans who are acting as though they care about law and order, and they're running on law and order, and they're suggesting we care about national sovereignty and American values, and they're allowing the mass importation of illegal immigration. Forget even about legal immigration, which is another topic we could go down all day, Michelle. It makes you sick. It really does.
It does. And here's my fear is that, the conventional establishment talking point this week on immigration, even as these hordes of people are coming in unprecedented numbers, is, we got a few billion from the Pentagon for the fencing. And it just lulls, I think, the base into this false sense of hope that something is being done when we could have Congress people in Washington themselves putting pressure on Trump to exercise his inherent executive authority to actually do more than just put a few dozen miles of physical barriers. And I'm not saying that we don't need that, but what needs to happen is the policies need to change.
Yeah. All right. So it's frustrating. At least we're underway with the national emergency, which is a good thing. At a minimum. Okay, so I would love to play audio, but I'm not going to eat clock because I want to hear from you. But I have audio of Nancy Pelosi suggesting that William Barr's interpretation of the Mueller report is not only probably wrong, but is arrogant and condescending. The conspiracies continue for the Russia collusion hoax crowd. Your reaction to the Mueller report and the way the Democrats are kind of flailing to explain it?
Well, it's confirmation, not revelation, and neither is it any surprise that the collusion hoaxers are going to continue to cling bitterly to the only thing that they have left in their obstruction and resistance campaign about Trump. And I suppose I should amend that. The only thing left. It's the only thing. It is the only thing. And it's the integrity and the credibility not only of the Democrat Party, but obviously the complex here with the mainstream media, and I think that it's never going to end. It's never going to end. And again, I think it's another thing that concerns me as well, because so many of us breathed a sigh of relief that the right thing was done here and that we could move on, and we're not going to. And the country is falling apart. I mean, we're on red alert. We need to wake up, and I think that a lot of the folks who've made an industry out of this, and there are a lot of people on the right too, and it needed to be done. But I think that we need to be able to re-hijack what the proper narratives should be and where we should be focusing.
Yeah, I think so. And the immigration first among them. But it is amazing that we've wasted 2 years on this. And then the president and folks like you and me will be the ones who the media will say we're dividing the country. And they lied to us for 2 years. And by the way, Michelle, I mean, we said 2 years ago they were lying to us. I mean, we were summer 2017. We were 9 months into this thing. And I was saying, hey, man, we don't got any evidence here. Are we going to continue to go down this road with no evidence? And the answer, of course, was yes. And they're still going down the road. Now they're acting as though William Barr is some conspirator with the Russian government is the way they're portraying it. Okay, I got to play. This is a quick one. This is Ricardo Rossello, Puerto Rico governor, on CNN with Jim Acosta. 7A, Mr. Paul.
Does it feel that way sometimes? That you're dealing with a bully?
If the bully gets close, I'll punch the bully in the mouth.
Just like that?
Just like that. I don't. It would be a mistake to confuse courtesy with courage.
All right. So this is the governor of Puerto Rico. Says he's going to punch the bully in the mouth. The bully, of course, in context is Trump. CNN does nothing. Jim Acosta loves it. And your thoughts on Michelle? Do you think you and I could get away with saying something like this?
Oh, of course not. And if he had tweeted it, I mean, they would have given him a second blue check mark on Twitter. This is right. This is the climate of hate. These are the double standards, and these sort of outbursts of truth. Oh, what was it called? A long, long time ago, and I'm showing my age here, Alex. Michael Kinsley talked about. Sort of the when you accidentally tell the truth, right? and you just sort of show it. He had a Kindlian phrase for it.
Sure. It sounds like a Freudian slip, but maybe it's something different.
Yes. But in the meantime, at least he's sitting in some studio. And by the way, do you see how unconvincing he sounds about it? Oh, I'm really
what a tough guy, you're right?
You're committed there. But in the meantime, things happen like. Steve King getting physically assaulted in an Iowa restaurant, and that young punk from my adopted home state of Colorado is celebrated, right? And then we had an entire week of people thinking that Egg Boy should be nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. I did a whole book on this, and I had mugshots, a book called Unhinged, of all of the liberals who had committed acts of violence against peaceful, law-abiding citizens who were merely exercising their rights to free speech and peaceable assembly.
Yeah, this is the guy who egged an anti-Muslim Australian senator. Michelle Malkin, we got to run. I always wish I had more time with you. Thank you for calling in from Colorado, by the way. So getting up early. Really appreciate that. Go to Michelle Malkin.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure is all on this side of the table. Great stuff, as always.